Hello everybody, it's Holger Mueller from Constellation Research, welcoming my colleague, good friend, partner in crime on running and the bike in international location, Thomas Otter. Hi Thomas, how are you?
Hi Holger, wie geht's? How you doing, bud?
I'm very good, very good. So what brings us together now, right? A long rumored, potentially surprising or not so surprising private equity action, right? So what are we talking about, Thomas?
Hey, we're talking about the Kronos and ultimate happy marriage.
Exactly.
That's the plan.
Happy marriage. Who proposed?
Yeah.
No,
well, let's call it arranged marriage. How's that?
Arranged marriage, right? By a matchmaker, right? Somebody.
Yeah.
It's not the parents who came together, but the parent came together, right? So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I've not been to the Kronos. I couldn't make it to the analyst day, and everybody was asking, "Oh, are you going to merge with Ultimate?" So it was September, like it was all over Twitter and so on. And they said, "No, no, 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 no." And well, now it has happened, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, it's
interesting.
a matter for me of not so much if, but when, you know.
Yeah, I think if it was a when thing, I think Hellman and Friedman and Blackstone would have done it earlier. I think something did not happen to their satisfaction, or they learned about it in terms of, hey, it's expensive to build software. They're building the same thing with Kronos moving into HCM, having built a new platform investment, which they funded, right? Because Hellman Friedman is with Kronos since 10 plus years, right? So very, very long time for a PE firm. And now basically Ultimate has to do the same similar thing, right? I've been like vocal, not too happy about Ultimate for a long time because the architecture always looked, every good idea of the last 5-6 years is there. And then they never consolidate and stop on this, right? You could see everything of that, and I would tease them. And they said last year at the Analyst Summit in November that now they have the discipline, they'll be building on a platform. And I don't know that for sure, but I think someone in private equity woke up and said, well, this is going to be a too long journey. And on the other side, you have workforce dimensions, which Kronos built in a really admirable way. I mean, school book Harvard case study, right? I don't quickly for the readers who don't know this, right?
Kronos. I hear from my customers and from my from my network that the Dimension product is very impressive.
Right.
They've managed to for a large software company, traditional software company, to actually do that kind of internal. Skunk works is the wrong term, but build it from scratch, don't try to reuse a whole bunch of stuff type exercise is very is very impressive, and I'm actually hearing quite good things about that product even across here in Europe. So there's something to that. I mean, and
to bring everybody in the loop, right? In case you don't know, so Kronos did the school book thing of going to an undisclosed third-party location, taking 1/3 of Kronos people, Kronites as they call it, 1/3 from the industry, 1/3 out of college, and giving them the task, build the software platform, the software that will disrupt Kronos. Think like a competitor. And the only connection once a month was CEO R&I, and there was no other connection back to Kronos. People at Kronos were the 1/3 who went there for their gun, right? They're outside, they're somewhere else, right? And then they built that to functional parity, which is, in my view, unheard of, right? Between you and me, we have like 50, 60 plus years of enterprise software. I've never seen a vendor coming out and say, look, we have functional parity for everything that's crucial, critical in workforce management, which is a very complex task by itself. And on top of that, before they briefed us analysts, they had 10 customers live. Unheard of. Unheard of.
Yeah. Hats off to Kronos. I never saw that coming.
So if I put myself in Hellman Friedman and say, look, I have one company which has done this, and the product is doing really well as a modern product, runs on Google Cloud Platform, does machine learning, is built modern, has declarative UI and so on, and another one which still has to do this, kind of like makes sense to bring things together.
Yeah, I can see that. Also, there are probably many other synergies as well. On the synergies is a word that I don't like, but I'll use it anyway. Just in terms of how the businesses run, they're both.
Oh my God! User error! I apologize. I accidentally removed Thomas. User error.
I'm back.
User error. Sorry, Thomas. I'm trying to play with the video controls here, right? Which are pretty nifty on StreamYard, right? So we can make us bigger or smaller. And I thought, how do I get you to full screen? And I couldn't get you to full screen, so I clicked on your logo. So sorry to any listeners.
Oh well, I'm still here. So look, there's a lot that Ultimate does really well, and I'm probably more positive about Ultimate than you are. I think they execute really well in North America.
No question. Yep.
The
So the positive things on Ultimate, let's not make me sound bad. And I have an architecture neck from my other research area, right? And I try to help vendors to get better on this. So they have the strongest HR culture from a company perspective, right? No question that is right. They're the strongest, most loyal customer base, right? So every conference hands out T-shirts, right? But as traditional, right? In 2 weeks, there's going to be Ultimate Connection Las Vegas. They every year have a different color T-shirt, and on the flight back, everybody wears that T-shirt. Like, I mean, the airport looks in that color of the T-shirt of the year, and people connect for that, right? Because the value for people going user conference, learn a new thing, and connect to other people. So if on my flight someone is wearing the T-shirt, hey, I have somebody if I wanted to talk about how they're using Ultimate, and I don't know this. Everybody is T-shirt. I don't know of anybody doing even remotely close. So super loyal customer base, which I think is going to be very helpful in the circumstances. And what I'm a big fan of, and what really works for, I'm a fan of payroll, right? The hard things to do, right? They did a design decision 20 plus years ago when Scott Scher founded the company that they don't assume that all your income is coming from where you're based address-wise, but you can have individual payments with the location. That makes them uniquely fitting to the gig economy now, if you want to talk about anybody making money outside of a city or inside a county or outside of a state and so on. And their successes with the professional sports franchises, where every local, if the professional sports franchise comes to play in town, they make so much money that the local government, state, and so on wants to have money from them. So this is why I can administer this. All the other guys assume, oh, you're based at headquarters, and then you just start to manually figure out, oh, we played 2 games in California, 3 games in Texas, and so on. So we're very strong on that. And last thing, to be fair to Ultimate, they released the first assistant in HCM with Xander, right? So which is really strong on helping people on the new lingual part. Acquisition of not Kaseya, I want to say Kaseya, but San Francisco-based, very smart people. They will come back to me later, and that's very helpful, right? Leadership actions, telling me as a manager what I should do in a team and so on. That is all thought leading.
And they've executed really well in terms of understanding the HR buying center, and especially in North America. That's their turf. And both vendors are, even though Kronos is global in a sense, both vendors are very, very comfortable in North America. So I think it creates a lot of opportunity in North America.
And very good point. Both weak internationally. With little parts, I mean, Ultimate did something with PeopleDoc, which also differentiates on the people services side, right? Case management should be by now an integral part of HR, because cases have to be.
I'm a big fan of PeopleDoc. I think the combination of Kronos and PeopleDoc is very interesting too.
Right. Yeah. So, but still 2 weak internationalization attempts are not making a strong one necessarily, but it's significant from the cost saving side, right? Because planting the flag, opening an office, getting salespeople, getting marketing people, localizing for 2 products is more expensive. And again, think Hellman Friedman didn't want to pay for that.
I mean, and Kronos has quite strong global presence, but it's by acquisition. So they have strong local. Some countries they'll have a strong local solution, but it won't necessarily be the global product.
Correct, and it usually Kronos love to buy scheduling engines, right, and somehow plug them into their product, right? All these scheduling engines locally with workpoints have to be brought into the new product and dimensions, which is not trivial, right? And it's something which they're undertaking, but they have not really come up with a roadmap. So that is interesting, good to see. Actually,
I suppose another disruption as well is Kronos has generally partnered quite well. So you'll find Kronos, close to ADP, for instance. You'll find them, close to success factors. They work reasonably well with Workday, as I understand, and they appear, as the heavyweight time solution, for pretty much every vendor where time gets heavy. And it'll be interesting to see what impact this merger has on the sort of Switzerland capabilities of Kronos with regards to those other vendors. Will that really change, or will that dynamic change? That'll be interesting to see.
That's a great point, very good point, right? Because Kronos has done a phenomenal job to partner with basically everybody else. The only non-partner, that's the irony, has been Ultimate, right? Ultimate has been using the WorkBrain product, which, okay, here trade again from the industry, was built by
Yeah,
David
that's the
Ossip,
Info one, right?
right? Exactly. So Infor bought WorkBrain. David Ossip went on to start Dayforce, which then became Ceridian, and he now and this team has transformed Ceridian into a software company, building, of course, on the experience of WorkBrain, a better product, as they
The
claim for
work.
workforce management, because of course you learn with that, right? And Ultimate was one of the biggest resellers of the WorkBrain product. So, and I think that's going to be the most immediate thing, which anybody's going to say that doesn't make sense. Plug in Kronos, it's highly pluggable, so it's bad news for Info and WorkBrain to a certain point. And the customers need to
Yeah,
make sure that they get
precisely.
a good product to
Although on the
replace
other hand,
that.
let's see what happens with ADP, because
Mhm.
ADP and Kronos have a great relationship, had a good
Right.
relationship, and Ultimate and ADP are sworn enemies. So
Yeah.
let's see
Yeah.
where that goes.
And then I was thinking that when Kronos unveiled the HCM ambition, right, which is basically they deliberately say, oh, we only go to companies of 20,000, not to fight with the big guys on the high end side, like the Oracles, the SAPs, the Workdays, and maybe even the ADPs. But they also said, well, the product scales to 50,000 on payroll side. We have somebody doing this, right? And I thought there would be a reaction right away then, but it has not happened because there's no alternative who to partner with, right? So it's basically Kronos and Workforce Software, and Workforce Software has kind of like missed the opportunity to really become the Kronos style, aka Switzerland for workforce management, right? So that's what's happening there. But everybody, as
Yeah,
we
I
know,
think there are other players as
yeah,
well. I think Atos, looking over here, there's Atos in Germany, which is interesting.
hmm,
There's quite a few interesting startups I've seen. I really like out of Berlin, Shift Plan, that Shift with a Y,
right.
and I think there's opportunities to do, for new players in this space. It's been dominated by a long time, so it creates
No,
opportunities, I think, in that Switzerland role
no
that
question.
perhaps aren't
Yeah.
there yet. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had Taylor Opti in my shortlist for workforce management out of Scandinavia, but they got acquired. Name escapes me right now too. So there goes one and over the startup. But they only do workforce management, and I think we can agree that Kronos and Ultimate is all about the HCM suite play with strengths in workforce management, with strengths maybe in electronic assistance with
Mhm.
Xander and neurolingual processing from Kenoya.
Yeah,
Kenjoya is the
that's it.
name of the
Yeah.
company they acquired. Now it comes back. But
Well, I also think then the question, one needs to ask H&F is, do they buy do they add more to this party? So, do they buy a talent management vendor? Um, have you killed me again?
no, 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 no. It only zooms on me for whatever reason, which I don't understand. I
No.
would like it to
Oh
understand you
well.
talking,
Oh
and you
well.
should be
So
big, but it doesn't work. So, hey, the StreamYard folks, if they're listening, I love their product. It's great, but yeah. But before I
no, it's
forget,
probably
we
just that
got some.
I'm just on an iPad here. I don't have any fancy.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. So actually, we have a question on Periscope where we're streaming live right now next to YouTube. One funny one about Anna Carson. Oh, Anna Carson. She's still watching. Hello to you. Great UX designer from ADP, and now doing, I think, venture stuff with ADP.
Cool.
I can't get rid of you so quickly. So of course, but there's WC Ryans who doesn't ring a bell with me and says, ask you, Thomas, what does Ultimate need to do for success globally? So, do you want to share some thoughts on that?
Uh, yeah, I think to be successful global, it sounds kind of stupid, but you have to actually behave globally, and that means hiring people and designing product global from the beginning. It's tough to take a product that's built in one country and then try and modify it to meet other countries. I think you have to start with your architectural premises and your use cases and so on, with the assumption that the product's going to be global from the beginning. Ultimate have made some progress there. I think that the People Docs is a good basis for doing some of that, because that product is really was conceptualized much more globally from the beginning. But it does take hard work. Every country is different. Every culture is different, and you have to design really with that in mind from the beginning. And you know, maybe another way to think about it is that America planet, not the not the sun. And so you need to make the global system in the center, and your country's satellites, if you like, rather than imagining that the one country is the center of the center of the product, and that takes a lot of cultural change, as well as architectural thinking. So that's what I think Ultima need to do. But the opportunity is there. I mean, there are, at the large end, there are very few global players.
No, that's very good points, right? And it's very hard when you're in North America, the biggest market for enterprise software. And of course, you have requirements from customers which are coming in, and you have to figure out, you don't have unlimited R&D resources, what to do, right? So I'm going to build something for this 20 billion HCM and extended system market. I'm going to build something for to make it Sally for Liechtenstein and so on, right? So or for even Germany, right? Which GDP wise is less than 20% of the US, right? And how am I going to be successful there? That's the hard part, and that's what even the large vendors.
Of the compliance requirements,
Right, it's what even the large vendors have to learn, right? And to me, the only company on a general level who really mastered that is SAP. All the other ones, even Oracle being large enough, kind of like struggle that, because there's always this North American draw away. And I only see really companies from outside of the US having the emancipation of that, because of course they can't neglect their home market, right? So
although it's rare that you find European vendors with the ambition to be really global. So that's the other side of it.
Because it's
so
hard
the American
for them to get the
funding,
ambition,
but they're not the focus.
And the European talk ultimate people talk, right? Very successful in France, right? Realized they have to come to the US, and of course had success here in the US as well, but are surprised how expensive and how much funding you need in the US, right? So that's the interesting part. But let's not forget that the important thing is Kronos had to do the movement to HCM anyway from a revenue growth part, but also everybody else is building time and attendance, which they largely have been built, right? You've been building that SAP SuccessFactors, but now entering into workforce management. And an example who's building their own solution that has partnering not with Kronos but with Workbrain and Info has been Ultimate, right? Ultimate has building their own workforce management solution, because such an integral part functionality-wise of the modern economy, where if you have payroll, you want to see how much the shift costs. Thomas, work this weekend. This is what you're going to take home if you work here. You can argue this, or you don't want to work.
Yeah, the problem with the scheduling side of it, though, is it's very industry specific. And so whereas payroll is very country specific, scheduling is very industry specific. So for example, like the software that you would use to schedule in a supermarket, right? You'd think retail, okay, I'm scheduling in a supermarket, compared to scheduling in a coffee shop is fundamentally different.
Or in a hotel,
in a coffee shop,
or in an auto shop. So absolutely,
two different coffee shops. So you're scheduling, multinodal, multiple nodes of people and multiple nodes of location, and that's really really different. And then obviously, when you go into then you start to get into field service scheduling as well. Then you get the geographic dimension. So the scheduling game is really hard, and tends to be lots of specialized vendors.
And this will be a huge learning lesson for the large ERP vendors trying to get into this market, right? And for anybody frankly going in this market. My thinking around this is it has to be completely rules driven, easier said than done, but then it has to be end user friendly, right? It has to implicitly find out you're scheduling people like this. Let me give you a rule for this as a local manager in the different industry, in the different location, where you then say, yeah, that makes sense, that helped me. Instead of sitting down half an hour to do the schedule.
I still see the scheduling stuff being specialist vendors. I just think there'll be a new wave of them.
Well, there will be room for that, no question.
And then the VC money's out there, and I think again with the tech stack availability, with your Azure or your AWS, the stuff you can build up quickly, the things that would have challenged you as a vendor in the past, I think those go away. The AI implications are very interesting too. So I expect to see a lot of disruption on the scheduling side from new players.
Absolutely, totally possible. Yeah, I mean, it will be the balance between pre-built schedules on the one side and then people-driven swapping shifts, scheduling by yourself, seeing the impact, being motivated or not motivated to do a certain thing on the other side, right? And then
Yeah,
you'll see. I think there's going to be a
and
balance. Yeah,
you know, a lot on the phone. You know,
yeah, of course. On
yeah.
one,
Phone becomes
two,
phone becomes yeah. I just
three,
have it
right?
on the
So,
yeah
yeah.
yeah.
Run your
You
schedules
only
on your
need one.
different gig platform.
Yeah.
So WC Rhines
Now,
thanks you on Periscope for the thoughtful response, Thomas. So obviously you said something smart, which I'm not surprised.
okay, good, good. It's
So
great
did
to
we
have
forget anything? We
actual
wanted to
human
talk for
beings
10
listening
minutes. We
to
had
us.
20 minutes. So did we forget anything important?
Oh, probably, but there'll be another time.
So I expect Kronos and through summer maybe they have an analyst summit in June, I think, and then there's Kronos Works, their user conference, right? It's of course too short. Ultimate Connections is in 2 weeks or in a week after next week in Las Vegas, so they won't be able to say anything at that time. It's too early. But I expect Kronos
Yeah,
to say something or doing the secret thing, right? Which they didn't tell us that they're building dimensions and saying no, we're fine with the integration and so on, and we have 3 products going forward, right? Ultimate with Kronos scheduling and workforce management. Then of course we have workforce dimensions,
yeah,
and then we have
yeah.
workforce ready for SMB, right? So maybe they're gonna just bluff it again, but I will call them out again like I did before, where I said you have too
Okay, so
many
putting on the
engineers.
line, is this deal a net positive for Ultimate customers?
I think so. I hope so. I think first of all, it's software is a size game, right? The larger you are, the better you can work. And there's things which both like internationally wise, everything is going global, which Kronos and Ultimate will do better together. There's things they have to learn, like developing successfully in multiple locations around the world in high talent, low cost locations. They have to learn that, but it's all going to be more efficient, right? So you get a more modern, more leading workforce management product. So there's
Yeah,
pain to replace Workbrain, no question about this. And you're going to get involved with a company who has built the most successful HCM product of the last decade. I think we can say that by now, right? In the way how they've built that and then rebuilt it. So this
yeah,
shouldn't be should
and
be cause for
yeah,
optimism. Yeah.
yeah. I agree. I'm positive about this. I think the leadership decision was really smart, and he's top notch.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for him, and I actually think there'll be a good cultural fit with the two companies as well.
Right.
They're quite similar.
Because Kronos wasn't so much on the lovey-dovey soft stuff, but with moving to the new headquarters, the former Xerox building up in north of Boston, they kind of like did lots of new things around work rooms. Aaron sits in a cube, is accessible. They have unlimited vacation, so they did a lot of things to attract workers and become a little more, much more like Ultimate. The big question is, can they keep the Ultimate people? And the good and bad news is there's no other company similar like Ultimate. Right? Like one example, Ultimate will pay 100% of healthcare, not for just the employee, but for the whole family. Right? That's unheard heard of in North America. So the question is,
Yeah,
can they keep these perks? Does Hellman Friedman want to roll these perks? And what does it mean for the ultimate people saying, okay, now it's different, right?
right.
The party's
Right.
over, right?
And I
Huge
think there's some
cultural
sporting
change.
challenges as well. You know, are they like Patriots fans or are they whatever it is
Miami Dolphins
down in
fans, yeah,
Florida?
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
loss of sports sponsoring going on from the ultimate side,
yeah,
traditionally, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
But I'm pretty positive about this one, and I think H&F have gone about this in a very smart way. And my prediction is a little bit down the road. This thing will there'll probably be another acquisition, and then this thing will IPO.
Yeah.
But I've been wrong before on those.
Sure, well, but there's enough competition still, right? As an enterprise, you want to see enough competition for that, right? It basically means now for SMB, you have ADP, Ceridian, and the combination of Ultimate and Kronos, right? So it's actually going to be almost these 3 shortlisted. In the higher end, you'll see who's gonna if they can break into the mix with SAP, Oracle, and Workday, right? So and who's going to be there, right?
Correct.
But it's
Yeah.
still 5, 6, 7 viable vendors competing for different parts of the market, which is the choice you want to have as an enterprise. That you can negotiate well and that they keep honest to what they do, and you can tell them if you don't work well, I might go somewhere else. It's all in the cloud, right? So that's the
Yeah.
good thing, right? It's not like the market is
Yeah.
losing competitors, but it's going to get stronger.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
So,
we want
dude,
to
we
talk
should
for
do
10
this
minutes.
again.
We had
But
24 minutes. What do you say? Sorry?
but
Yeah.
we should do this again another day. This is
Absolutely.
fun.
This was
And
total fun. Always good to see you, Thomas. Always impressed by your library. I have interesting coloring effects going on, or lighting effects going on here. I have the light behind me, so don't squint too much. This was fun. Thanks everybody for watching. Thomas Otter. Follow him at Vendor Pricey, right? VENDORPRISEY. You can see my Twitter and let Holger move there. I've done a
Yeah,
vakelet
I'll
collecting
put
the
it on
tweets.
next time.
Yeah, no worries,
Yeah.
no worries. No, this is why you mentioned it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and let's see what happens with Kronos and Ultimate.
Cool. All right, dude. Great speaking to
Thanks
you.
everybody.
Cheers now.
Bye.